This cabin isn't for your kind. There's been a mistake. The words slice through the humid evening air of JFK Terminal 4 like a blade through silk. Catherine Walsh stands at the entrance of the Airbus A321. Her blonde hair shellacked into a perfect helmet, her red lipstick a slash of authority across her pale face. Her name tag reads, "Lead Flight Attendant" in gold letters that catch the harsh fluorescent lighting of Gate B42. She stares down at Maya Rodriguez, a 35-year-old black woman whose simple black jeans and charcoal sweater apparently offend every fiber of Catherine's being. Maya holds up her phone displaying a digital boarding pass that clearly shows Seat 1A, first class, but Catherine's eyes don't even glance at the screen. "I said there's been a mistake," Catherine repeats louder now. Her voice carries that particular brand of condescension reserved for people she believes don't belong. Economy is that way. Maya doesn't flinch. Her dark eyes remain steady, her voice calm as still water. "My seat assignment is 1A. I'm not here by mistake." Behind Catherine, the first-class cabin buzzes with the uncomfortable energy of 8 passengers who suddenly find themselves witnesses to something ugly. In Seat 1A sits Derek Henderson, a 45-year-old white man in cargo shorts and a branded polo shirt, his sock feet propped against the bulkhead like he owns the place. He's talking loudly into his phone about premium upgrades while eating complimentary nuts that haven't even been served yet. "Look," Catherine says, stepping closer to Maya, her voice dropping to what she thinks is a reasonable tone. "I don't know how you got that boarding pass or what kind of deal you think you worked out, but Mr. Henderson is a valued passenger. He's already settled." Sophia Martinez, a 28-year-old travel blogger sitting in 2B, raises her phone and starts recording. Her dark eyes flash with recognition of what's happening. This isn't her first time witnessing discrimination, but it might be her first time documenting it in real time. Ma'am Sophia calls out her Hispanic accent, giving warmth to her words she has a valid boarding pass. "I saw it." Catherine whirls around her armor of authority momentarily cracked. "Passengers need to remain seated. This doesn't concern you." "Actually," says James Crawford, a 42-year-old white tech executive in Seat 3A, "it does concern us. We're all watching this." He pulls out his phone and opens a live streaming app. And now, so is everyone else. Maya remains perfectly still during this exchange. She doesn't raise her voice, doesn't gesture wildly, doesn't give Catherine the angry black woman stereotype she's clearly expecting. Instead, she watches Catherine dig her own grave with surgical precision. "Mr. Henderson." Catherine calls to the man in Maya's seat. "Did anyone approach you about moving? Any confusion about your seat assignment?" Derek looks up from his phone, a smirk playing across his weathered features. He takes in Maya's appearance and his grin widens. "Nope. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. First-class baby." He waves his phone at Maya. "Maybe you should check your ticket again, sweetheart. Sometimes people get confused." Elena Torres. A 24-year-old Hispanic mother traveling with her toddler in Seat 4B shifts uncomfortably. Her little girl is sleeping against her shoulder, but Elena's eyes are wide watching the confrontation unfold. She whispers to the passenger next to her, "This is wrong. This is really wrong." Maya finally speaks again, her voice carrying a dangerous calm. "Catherine." She reads the name tag for the first time. "I'm going to ask you once more. Please check your manifest and ask Mr. Henderson to move to his assigned seat so I can take mine." Catherine's face flushes red above her artificial smile. "I am not going to displace a seated passenger based on your claim. Now I can find you a lovely seat in the main cabin, or you can speak to the gate agent about rebooking." Ryan Torres, the 26-year-old junior flight attendant, appears in the cabin doorway. His face shows clear discomfort as he witnesses the scene. He knows this pattern. He's seen Catherine sort passengers before, always finding reasons why certain people belong in the back and others deserve the premium treatment. He wants to speak up, but Catherine is his supervisor and he needs this job. "Is there a problem here?" Ryan asks, though his tone suggests he already knows the answer. "No problem," Catherine says, not taking her eyes off Maya, just helping a passenger find her correct seat. Sophia's recording captures everything. For those just joining, she narrates into her phone, "We're witnessing a flight attendant refuse to honor a valid first-class ticket. The passenger has shown her boarding pass multiple times," James adds to his live stream. "The woman with the valid ticket is being told she doesn't belong in first class, while the man in her seat hasn't shown any documentation at all." Maya reaches into her black leather purse, a simple but expensive bag that Catherine dismisses as fake. She pulls out a black American Express Centurion card, the weight of the metal catching the cabin lights. "Perhaps this will clarify my ability to purchase first-class travel," Maya says, placing the card on the armrest of the aisle seat. Catherine glances at the card and her lip curls. Anyone can get these made nowadays. Credit card fraud is more common than you think. She picks up the card with 2 fingers like it might contaminate her. "I'll need to verify this with the issuer." The cabin erupts in murmurs. Derek laughs from seat 1A. "Oh man, she's really trying to sell this story. Props for commitment lady." Elena Torres finally speaks up, her voice shaking slightly. "This is discrimination. I'm watching discrimination happen in real time." Catherine spins toward her. "Ma'am, I need you to lower your voice and return to your seat. You're creating a disturbance." "I'm not the one creating a disturbance." Elena shoots back, her maternal instincts overriding her discomfort. "You are." Maya watches this all unfold with the patience of someone who has played this game before. At 23, she was denied a hotel room in Atlanta despite having a confirmed reservation. The desk clerk looked at her casual clothes and decided she was trying to scam the system. She slept in her rental car that night, and by morning she had outlined the business plan that would eventually become Rodriguez Industries. Catherine Maya says again, her voice cutting through the growing chaos. "I need my card back." "I told you I'm verifying it," Catherine replies, clutching the card. "Company policy." "Show me that policy," Maya challenges. Catherine falters for a moment, then recovers her bluster. "I don't need to show you anything. I have authority over this cabin. Sophia's video has been live for 7 minutes now, and the viewer count is climbing rapidly. Comments flood in from people outraged by what they're seeing. Velocity shame starts trending within minutes. James's stream reaches his 50,000 followers immediately. Tech executives, venture capitalists, and entrepreneurs watch in real time as discrimination unfolds at 30,000 feet. "This is insane," James mutters to his stream. "They've taken her credit card and are refusing to honor her valid ticket." Maya finally moves. She steps fully into the first-class cabin, her presence commanding, despite her casual attire. "Mr. Henderson, I'm going to need you to move." Derek looks up at her with mock confusion. "Lady, I don't know what game you're playing, but I'm not going anywhere. I earned this seat." "How did you earn it?" Maya asks, her voice perfectly level. "I'm a Platinum Elite member," Derek says, though his voice wavers slightly. Maya turns to Catherine. "Verify his status." Catherine's face goes pale. She knows Derek isn't a Platinum member. She knows he's flying on a buddy pass, a free ticket she arranged for him. She knows that Maya's seat is legitimate, while Derek's upgrade was theft. But she's committed now, and backing down would mean admitting she was wrong. "Mr. Henderson's status is not your concern," Catherine says firmly. Actually, Maya replies, it is. Because if he's not entitled to that seat, then you've stolen $1,200 worth of airline property and given it to your friend. The word stolen hangs in the air like a bomb waiting to explode. Derek's bravado cracks. "Hey, now that's a serious accusation. Catherine, handle this." Catherine's authority is crumbling, but she makes one final fatal mistake. She leans in close to Maya, her voice dropping to a hiss that she thinks only Maya can hear. But Sophia's phone is closer than she realizes, and every word gets captured in crystal clear audio. "Listen carefully," Catherine whispers. "I don't know what kind of scam you're running, but I've been doing this for 28 years. I know your type. You people always think you can cause a scene and get your way. Well, not on my plane." The silence that follows is absolute. Sophia's face goes pale behind her recording phone. James stops mid-sentence in his live stream. Elena Torres gasps audibly, waking her sleeping daughter. Even Derek shifts uncomfortably in the stolen seat. Maya doesn't respond immediately. She simply stands there, letting Catherine's words hang in the air like toxic gas. When she finally speaks, her voice is deadly calm. "Your type. You people. Thank you for making this crystal clear." Catherine realizes her mistake but doubles down instead of apologizing. "I meant people who try to scam airlines. Don't twist my words." "I'm not twisting anything," Maya replies. "Everyone heard exactly what you said." Ryan Torres finally finds his courage. "Catherine, maybe we should just check the computer system one more time." Catherine rounds on him like a viper. "Ryan, call security. This passenger is being disruptive and needs to be removed." Maya smiles for the first time since boarding. It's not a pleasant expression. "Yes, Catherine. Call security. Please." Catherine reaches for the intercom phone, confident that removing this woman will solve all her problems. She has no idea that in exactly 3 minutes her own career will be over, and the woman she's trying to humiliate will reveal herself as the most powerful person on the aircraft. Derek, meanwhile, has started to sense the shift in the cabin's energy. The other passengers aren't looking at Maya like she's the problem anymore. They're looking at Catherine with growing disgust. He pulls his feet down from the bulkhead and sits up straighter, though he doesn't offer to move. Sophia continues recording her commentary, growing more pointed. 28 years of this, she says to her audience. 28 years of deciding who belongs and who doesn't based on how they look. James adds to his live stream, "This is exactly why I fly private. But most people don't have that option. Most people have to deal with this garbage." Elena Torres speaks up again, her voice stronger now. "Ma'am," she addresses Maya, "I want you to know that not everyone thinks this is okay. Some of us see what's really happening here." Maya nods at Elena with genuine gratitude. "Thank you. That means more than you know." Catherine, meanwhile, has picked up the intercom phone. "Ground security to gate B42, please. We have a disruptive passenger situation requiring immediate assistance." She hangs up and turns back to Maya with victory written across her face. "Security will be here in 5 minutes. You can explain your story to them." Maya reaches into her purse again, but this time she doesn't pull out a credit card. She pulls out a second phone, sleek and black, different from the one showing her boarding pass. This phone has no case, no decorations, just elegant black metal that seems to absorb light. Catherine notices the phone change but doesn't understand its significance. To her, it's just another device this woman is probably using to record or call someone who can't help her. Maya's thumb hovers over the speed dial. Position 1 is marked simply DP, emergency. Catherine. Maya says, her voice carrying a new undertone of authority. "I'm going to give you one final opportunity to correct this situation. Ask Mr. Henderson to move to his assigned seat, return my credit card, and treat me with the respect due to any paying passenger." Catherine laughs. Actually laughs. "Or what? You'll post a bad review. Suis lady, do you have any idea how many threats I've heard over the years?" "Actually," Maya says, pressing the speed dial button, "I don't make threats. I make phone calls." The phone barely rings once before a voice answers. "David, this is Maya. Code Sierra Gate B4 to immediate implementation." Catherine's confident smile wavers. Something about Maya's tone has changed completely. The exhausted passenger is gone, replaced by someone who speaks with absolute authority. "Who are you calling?" Catherine demands, though her voice has lost some of its certainty. Maya doesn't answer Catherine. She continues speaking into her phone. Full crew replacement required within 15 minutes. Catherine, Walsh, Derek Henderson, and anyone else complicit in this violation. Derek finally stands up, no longer lounging in the seat. Look, maybe I should just... Sit down, Maya tells him without looking in his direction. Her voice carries such quiet command that Derek immediately complies. Catherine steps forward, reaching for Maya's phone. You can't just... Maya holds up one finger, stopping Catherine in her tracks. The gesture is so naturally authoritative that Catherine freezes mid-sentence. David Maya continues into the phone. Also contact Robert Klein immediately. I want him aware of the situation before security arrives. Who is Robert Klein? Catherine whispers to Ryan, but he just shakes his head, looking increasingly nervous. Maya ends the call and looks directly at Catherine for the first time since the confrontation began. Her exhaustion is gone, replaced by a razor-sharp focus that makes Catherine take an involuntary step backward. Robert Klein, Maya says calmly, is your boss's boss. He's the executive vice president of operations for Velocity Airlines. Catherine's face goes white. How do you know that name? Maya slips her phone back into her purse. The same way I know that you've just committed your last act as an employee of Velocity Airlines. The fluorescent lights of gate B42 cast harsh shadows across Maya Rodriguez's face as she stands perfectly still in the aircraft doorway. Her composed exterior reveals nothing of the storm building inside her mind, a storm that began forming 28 years ago in Atlanta. Maya was 23 then, fresh out of Stanford Business School with an MBA that cost more than most people's cars. She had landed her first major client meeting with a hotel chain, a deal that would launch her consulting career. After a red-eye flight from San Francisco, she arrived at the Peachtree Plaza Hotel in clothes that screamed exhausted graduate student rather than future business mogul. The desk clerk, a middle-aged white man with perfectly coiffed hair and a smile that never reached his eyes, looked her up and down with the same expression Catherine Walsh wears now. I'm sorry, but we show no reservation under that name. Perhaps you meant the Holiday Inn down the street. Maya had pulled out her confirmation email, her credit card, her ID. She had showed him everything except her dignity, which she refused to sacrifice even then. The system was down, he claimed. The manager was unavailable. Maybe if she came back tomorrow when things were sorted out. She slept in her rental car that night, a cramped Honda Civic in the hotel parking garage. But instead of wallowing in humiliation, she used those sleepless hours to draft a business plan. If hotels could deny access based on appearance, she would build a company that owned hotels. If the hospitality industry could discriminate with impunity, she would acquire enough of it to demand change from the inside. Now, 12 years later, Rodriguez Industries manages a $1.4 billion portfolio of hospitality, transportation, and service companies. 3 days ago, they completed their largest acquisition, yet Velocity Airlines, a struggling regional carrier with roots throughout the eastern United States. Maya chose to fly Velocity for her first trip as the new owner specifically to experience the company from a passenger's perspective. No private jet, no corporate fanfare. Just a tired woman in coach clothes trying to get home to Los Angeles. She wanted to see how her new employees treated customers when they thought nobody important was watching. She's getting exactly the education she hoped for, and it's worse than she imagined. Catherine Walsh, meanwhile, represents everything wrong with the old guard of airline service. At 52, she's spent more than half her life perfecting the art of passenger assessment. In her mind, she's not discriminating. She's maintaining standards. She's preserving the exclusivity that makes first class worth the premium price. Catherine learned this approach from veteran attendants who taught her the unwritten rules of airline hierarchy. You can tell who belongs, they whispered during training sessions that weren't part of any official manual. It's in how they dress, how they speak, how they carry themselves. Trust your instincts. For 28 years, Catherine's instincts have told her that people like Maya don't belong in first class. She's seen it hundreds of times. Someone gets a free upgrade or uses a stolen credit card trying to experience luxury they haven't earned. In Catherine's worldview, she's protecting legitimate passengers from interlopers and scammers. She's developed an elaborate mental classification approach. Business travelers in expensive suits get champagne before takeoff. Casual passengers get scrutinized. Young people, minorities, and anyone dressed inappropriately get questioned. It's not racism, she tells herself. It's experience. Catherine has never been challenged on her approach because it operates in the gray spaces of customer service. A questioning look here, a request for additional ID. There a suggestion that perhaps the passenger would be more comfortable in a different seat. Most people comply rather than cause a scene. Most people don't have the resources to fight back. Derek Henderson represents the other side of Catherine's coin, the beneficiary of her selective generosity. Derek is Catherine's neighbor in Queens, a divorced insurance adjuster who never flies anywhere more exotic than Florida. But he knows how to charm Catherine with compliments about her authority and jokes about difficult passengers. When Derek mentioned wanting to visit his brother in Los Angeles, Catherine saw an opportunity to feel generous without cost to herself. A few keystrokes in the computer system, a free upgrade from his buddy pass, and Derek gets to experience first class while Catherine gets to play fairy godmother. The fact that Derek isn't entitled to the upgrade doesn't concern Catherine. In her mind, she's being kind to a friend while maintaining the cabin's proper atmosphere. Derek looks like he belongs in first class, even if his cargo shorts and polo shirt suggest otherwise. Ryan Torres represents the future. Catherine fears a new generation of airline employees who question the old ways. At 26, Ryan grew up in a world where discrimination is supposed to be illegal, not just discouraged. He joined Velocity Airlines because he needs the job, but he's uncomfortable with Catherine's methods. Ryan has watched Catherine sort passengers for the 2 years he's worked under her supervision. He's seen her find extra scrutiny for black passengers, additional verification requirements for young travelers, and mysterious seat assignment issues for people who don't meet her standards. Each time, Ryan feels the knot in his stomach tighten. He knows it's wrong, but Catherine is his supervisor, his union representative, and his mentor. Challenging her means risking his job, his benefits, and his future in the industry. So he stays quiet, complicit through silence. Sophia Martinez, the travel blogger in Seat 2B, has built her career documenting authentic travel experiences. Her 200,000 Instagram followers trust her to show them the real world of travel, not just the pretty pictures and sponsored content that dominate social media. Sophia has experienced discrimination herself, though usually more subtle than what she's witnessing now. The assumption that she can't afford business class, the suggestion that she might be more comfortable with Spanish-speaking crew members, the extra scrutiny of her passport despite being born in Texas. When Sophia raises her phone to record Catherine's behavior, she's not just documenting an incident, she's creating evidence. Her audience includes travel industry professionals, civil rights advocates, and millions of people who face similar discrimination every day. James Crawford. The tech executive live streaming from Seat 3A represents the power of real-time accountability. His 50,000 followers include venture capitalists, entrepreneurs, and other executives who can amplify his message instantly across multiple platforms. James has the privilege of rarely experiencing discrimination himself, but he recognizes it when he sees it. His decision to live stream the confrontation transforms a private airline incident into a public relations disaster unfolding in real time. Elena Torres. The young mother in Seat 4B embodies the moral conscience of the cabin. Traveling alone with her toddler daughter, she understands vulnerability and the importance of standing up for others who can't defend themselves. Elena's decision to speak up despite her own precarious position shows the kind of courage that civil rights movements depend on ordinary people doing extraordinary things when confronted with injustice. Back in the cabin, Maya's phone call to David Park has set machinery in motion that Catherine cannot comprehend. David Park, Maya's chief of staff, sits in Rodriguez Industries' Los Angeles headquarters with direct access to every executive in Maya's portfolio of companies. When Maya says Code Sierra, David immediately understands the gravity of the situation. Code Sierra is Maya's personal emergency protocol used only when discrimination or safety issues require immediate corporate intervention. It bypasses normal channels and puts David in direct contact with company leadership. David's first call goes to Robert Klein, the VP of Operations, who was scheduled to fly on this same flight but remained in New York for additional meetings. Robert knows Maya as the new owner who just invested $890 million in his struggling airline. When David tells him about the situation at Gate B42, Robert's blood pressure spikes. Robert Klein joined Velocity Airlines 15 years ago when it was a profitable regional carrier. He's watched the company struggle with outdated approaches, aging aircraft, and a corporate culture that prioritizes cost-cutting over customer service. When Rodriguez Industries acquired Velocity, Robert hoped new ownership would bring necessary changes. He didn't expect those changes to begin with his lead flight attendant racially profiling his new boss in first class. Maya's acquisition of Velocity Airlines wasn't just a business decision, it was personal. Airlines represent the ultimate service industry where customers are literally trapped with service providers at 30,000 feet. If you can fix an airline's culture, Maya reasoned you can fix any service company's culture. The purchase also satisfied Maya's desire to address travel discrimination directly. She's experienced bias in hotels, restaurants, and retail stores, but airline discrimination carries unique sting because passengers can't simply leave. They're captive audiences for whatever treatment the crew decides to provide. Standing in the aircraft doorway, waiting for Catherine to realize the magnitude of her mistake, Maya thinks about all the travelers who don't have her resources or authority. The students denied upgrades despite valid tickets. The professionals questioned about their ability to afford premium service. The families separated because crew members decide they belong in different sections. Catherine, meanwhile, has no idea that the woman she's trying to humiliate owns the company that signs her paychecks. In Catherine's experience, important people announce themselves immediately. They name-drop, demand special treatment, and throw around titles and connections. Maya's quiet dignity confuses Catherine's classification approach. Important people don't stand calmly while being insulted. They don't accept theft of their property without immediately threatening lawsuits. They certainly don't let airline employees confiscate their credit cards without making phone calls to corporate headquarters. But Maya is making phone calls to corporate headquarters. She's just calling herself. The security Catherine summoned will arrive soon, but they won't be arresting Maya for disturbing the peace. They'll be escorting Catherine off the aircraft for the last time in her career. Derek Henderson, still occupying Maya's seat, begins to sense the shift in cabin energy. The other passengers aren't looking at Maya like she's the problem anymore. They're looking at Catherine with growing disgust, and they're looking at him with suspicion. Derek's confidence was built on Catherine's authority, but that authority is cracking under the weight of social media scrutiny and passenger outrage. His buddy pass upgrade, which seemed like a harmless favor an hour ago, now feels like evidence of corruption. Ryan Torres watches all this unfold with growing dread. He knows Catherine's approach is wrong, but he's also terrified of the consequences of speaking up. His student loans his family's health insurance. His entire future depends on keeping this job. But Ryan is also watching Sophia's recording and James's live stream reach thousands of viewers in real time. He's seeing the comment sections fill with outrage at Catherine's behavior and support for Maya's dignity. The old approach of quiet compliance and willful ignorance is collapsing in real time. Maya checks her watch, a simple black timepiece that doesn't announce its 5-figure price tag. David will have contacted Robert Klein by now. Corporate security will be reviewing gate footage. The machinery of accountability is spinning up to address not just this incident, but the culture that made it possible. Catherine thinks she's waiting for airport security to remove a problematic passenger. She has no idea she's waiting for corporate security to remove her. Catherine Walsh's confidence surges as she holds Maya's black Centurion card like evidence in a criminal trial. The weight of the metal means nothing to her. In her world, fraud has become so sophisticated that even the most convincing props can be manufactured. You know, Catherine says, turning the card over in her hands, these fakes are getting really good. But there are tells if you know what to look for. Maya's expression doesn't change, but something dangerous flickers in her dark eyes. What tells would those be? Catherine. The weight. For one thing, Catherine replies, clearly enjoying what she believes is her expertise. Real Centurion cards are heavier. This feels too light. Sophia Martinez, still recording from seat 2B, can't contain her disbelief. Ma'am, that card is obviously real. The holographics, the chip, everything about it screams authentic. Catherine whirls around. I told you to stay out of this. Passengers who interfere with crew duties can be removed from the aircraft. James Crawford looks up from his live stream. Are you seriously threatening to remove passengers who point out that you're wrong? I'm not wrong, Catherine snaps. I've seen every kind of scam you can imagine. Credit card fraud, identity theft, stolen boarding passes. People like her. She catches herself before finishing the sentence, but the damage is done. People like me, what? Maya asks, her voice deadly calm. Catherine's face flushes red. People who try to scam airlines. I meant exactly what I said. Elena Torres shifts her sleeping daughter to her other arm and speaks up. No, you meant exactly what you almost said. We all heard it. Derek Henderson, growing uncomfortable with the scrutiny, tries to redirect attention. Look, this is getting out of hand. I'm settled in my seat. She can take any other seat in first class. Problem solved. Maya turns to look at Derek for the first time since entering the cabin. Mr. Henderson, what's your confirmation number? Derek's face goes blank. My what? Your confirmation number, from when you booked your first-class ticket. Derek looks to Catherine for help, but Catherine is studying Maya's credit card with exaggerated intensity. I don't need to give you my confirmation number. Who are you? Airport security. I'm a paying passenger asking another passenger to verify his right to occupy my assigned seat, Maya replies. If you have a legitimate claim to 1A, you should be able to prove it. Derek's bravado cracks. Catherine, handle this. Catherine steps between Derek and Maya, physically blocking Maya's view of the seat. Mr. Henderson doesn't need to prove anything to you. You're the one making claims here. Ryan Torres finally finds his voice. Catherine, maybe we should just check the computer system one more time. It would clear everything up. Catherine's authority mask slips for a moment, revealing genuine panic underneath. Ryan, I told you to call security. Why haven't you done that yet? Because I called them first, Maya says quietly. And they should be arriving shortly. Catherine laughs, a harsh sound that makes several passengers wince. You called security on yourself? That's a new one. Maya pulls out her regular phone, the one she used to show her boarding pass, and opens her email. I called security because I wanted them to see this. She holds up the phone, showing her Velocity Airlines confirmation email. The timestamp shows the booking was made 3 weeks ago. The price shows $1,247 for seat 1, a first-class JFK to LAX. Now, Mr. Henderson. Maya says show us your booking confirmation. Derek scrambles for his phone, but his hands are shaking. I don't need to show you anything. Catherine tell her she can't demand to see my booking. Catherine realizes she's trapped. If Derek shows his buddy pass confirmation, it will prove the fraud. If he doesn't, it looks suspicious. Either way, her authority is crumbling in front of 8 first-class passengers and however many people are watching the live streams. Listen, Catherine says, dropping her voice to what she thinks is a reasonable tone. We can sort this out on the ground. But we have a schedule to keep, and I can't have passengers interrogating other passengers. Sophia stops recording for a moment to speak directly to Catherine. Ma'am, I'm a travel blogger with 200,000 followers. I've flown on hundreds of flights, and I've never seen anything like this. You've confiscated a passenger's credit card, refused to honor her valid ticket, and now you're blocking her from resolving the situation. Your follower count doesn't give you authority on my aircraft, Catherine snaps. James looks up from his live stream, where the viewer count has just passed 10,000. Actually, it kind of does. Social media accountability is real accountability. And right now, 10,000 people are watching you discriminate against a paying passenger. Catherine's panic deepens. She hadn't considered that this confrontation was being broadcast to thousands of viewers in real time. Her carefully controlled environment is spinning out of control. Turn off those cameras, she demands. Filming crew members without permission is against federal regulations. Maya speaks up calmly. That's not true, Catherine. Passengers can record crew interactions as long as they don't interfere with safety procedures. How would you know federal regulations? Catherine asks suspiciously. Because I study industries before I invest in them, Maya replies. The word invest hangs in the air like a question mark. Catherine doesn't understand its significance, but something about Maya's tone suggests authority beyond that of a typical passenger. Derek, meanwhile, has found his buddy pass confirmation and is staring at his phone in horror. The email clearly shows non-revenue standby, courtesy of C. Walsh. His free upgrade is documented in black and white. Derek Maya says, "Have you found your confirmation?" Derek looks at Catherine desperately. I don't have to show her anything, right? This is harassment. Maya's patience finally shows its first crack. Mr. Henderson, you're sitting in a seat that I paid $1,247 for, and you can't produce a single piece of documentation showing you have any right to be there. That's not harassment. That's theft. The word theft galvanizes Catherine. She steps forward, aggressively invading Maya's personal space. Now you listen to me. I don't know what your game is, but you're not going to come onto my aircraft and accuse my passengers of theft. Maya doesn't step back. She meets Catherine's aggressive posture with absolute stillness. Your aircraft. That's right. I'm the lead flight attendant. I have authority over this cabin. Maya smiles for the second time since boarding, and it's even less pleasant than the first. Catherine, do you know who owns Velocity Airlines? Catherine falters. What does that matter? It matters because 3 days ago, Rodriguez Industries completed the acquisition of this airline. The woman you're harassing isn't just a passenger. She's your new boss. Catherine staggers backward like she's been physically struck. That's impossible. You're lying. Maya reaches into her purse again, but this time she pulls out a folded document. She hands it to Ryan Torres, who has been watching the confrontation with growing dread. Ryan, would you please read the top of that document? Ryan's hands shake as he unfolds the paper. His voice cracks as he reads aloud, Rodriguez Industries Maya Rodriguez, Chief Executive Officer. Velocity Airlines acquisition agreement executed 3 days ago for $890 million. The cabin falls silent, except for the hum of the aircraft's air circulation system. Sophia's recording captures every second of Catherine's face as the reality hits her. James's live stream viewer count jumps to 15,000 as word spreads across social media. Derek Henderson leaps out of seat 1A like it's on fire. Oh God. Oh God. I'm sorry. I didn't know. Catherine said it was fine. I never would have. Maya raises a hand, silencing him. Her attention remains focused on Catherine, whose face has gone from red to white to gray in the span of 30 seconds. So Catherine Maya says, her voice carrying new authority. Would you like to revise your assessment of my right to occupy seat 1? Catherine's mouth opens and closes like a fish drowning in air. The passenger she's been harassing for the past 20 minutes isn't just any customer. She's the owner of the entire company. I didn't know, Catherine stammers. If you had just said who you were, I shouldn't have to announce my identity to receive basic customer service, Maya replies. Every passenger deserves to be treated with dignity regardless of who they are. Elena Torres speaks up from seat 4B. That's exactly right. It shouldn't matter if she's the CEO or a college student. Discrimination is wrong either way. Catherine realizes she's not just facing termination. She's facing criminal charges. The buddy pass fraud, the credit card confiscation, the deliberate discrimination. It's all been documented and broadcast to thousands of viewers. Mrs. Rodriguez, Catherine says, her voice barely above a whisper I can explain. There was confusion with the seating chart. I was trying to maintain order by confiscating my credit card. Catherine looks down at the black Centurion card still in her hand. The weight that she dismissed as too light now feels like evidence of her incompetence. By questioning my right to fly first class. Catherine has no answer. By telling your friend Derek that he could steal my seat. Derek, who has retreated to the back of the first-class cabin, makes a small, whimpering sound. Ryan Torres finds his courage at exactly the wrong moment. Catherine, maybe we should call Mr. Klein. He might be able to sort this out. Catherine's eyes widen in terror. She knows that involving Robert Klein, the VP of Operations, will only make things worse. But Maya smiles at Ryan's suggestion. That's an excellent idea, Ryan. I spoke with Robert a few minutes ago. He should be calling Catherine's phone any moment now, as if summoned by magic. Catherine's cell phone starts ringing. The ringtone is an upbeat pop song that sounds absolutely ridiculous in the tense atmosphere of the cabin. Catherine stares at her phone like it's a bomb. Aren't you going to answer? Maya asks politely. Catherine's hand trembles as she accepts the call. Mr. Klein. Even passengers several rows back can hear Robert Klein's voice through the phone. He's not yelling, but his controlled fury is somehow more terrifying than screaming would be. Catherine, I need you to listen very carefully. The passenger you've been harassing is Maya Rodriguez, the CEO of Rodriguez Industries and the new owner of this airline. You are suspended effective immediately. Airport security is en route to escort you off the aircraft. Catherine's legs buckle and she has to grab the back of a seat to keep from falling. Mr. Klein, there's been a misunderstanding. I was just doing my job. Your job is customer service, not racial profiling. Your job is passenger safety, not credit card theft. Your job is professional behavior, not buddy pass fraud. Each accusation hits Catherine like a physical blow. She realizes that this phone call is being recorded, that her responses are creating a permanent record of her failures. I can fix this, she pleads into the phone. Give me another chance. Maya gently takes the phone from Catherine's hand. Robert, this is Maya. Ms. Rodriguez. I am so sorry. This is not representative of our company culture. Actually, Robert, I think it's exactly representative of your company culture. That's why we're going to change it. Sophia's recording has captured every word of the phone call. Her followers are sharing the video across multiple platforms, and Velocity Shame is trending nationally. James's live stream has reached 25,000 viewers, with comments flooding in from outraged travelers sharing their own stories of airline discrimination. Derek Henderson has pressed himself against the back wall of the cabin, trying to become invisible. He knows his buddy Pass Fraud has been exposed to thousands of viewers, and his insurance adjuster job requires a clean criminal record. Elena Torres watches Catherine's collapse with a mixture of satisfaction and pity. Justice feels good, but seeing another human being destroyed is still difficult to witness. Ryan Torres realizes his career is probably over too. He was complicit in Catherine's discrimination, even if he was just following orders. He knows that just following orders isn't a defense for enabling racial profiling. Maya hands Catherine's phone back to her and reclaims her Centurion card. The black metal feels warm from Catherine's perspiring grip. Catherine, Maya says, not unkindly, "You've had 28 years to learn that every passenger deserves respect. The fact that you haven't learned that lesson by now suggests you never will." Catherine begins to cry, the kind of desperate tears that come when everything you've built over decades crumbles in minutes. "Please," she begs. "I have a mortgage. I have 28 years with this company. I need this job." Maya's expression doesn't soften. "You should have thought about that before you decided I didn't belong in first class." Airport security appears at the aircraft door 3 Port Authority officers who look confused about why they're removing crew members instead of passengers. "Ma'am," the lead officer says to Catherine, "we need you to come with us." Catherine looks around the cabin one last time, seeking help that isn't coming. The passengers who witnessed her discrimination avoid eye contact. Derek has disappeared entirely. Even Ryan won't meet her gaze. As security escorts Catherine off the aircraft, she makes one final mistake. She turns back to Maya and says, "You've destroyed my life over nothing." This wasn't racism. This was just procedure. The words seal her fate completely. Any possibility of sympathy, any chance of portraying herself as a victim of misunderstanding evaporates with that final display of arrogance. Maya watches Catherine disappear down the jet bridge and feels no satisfaction, only sadness. 28 years in the industry, and Catherine never learned the most basic lesson of customer service: treat every passenger as if they might own the company. Because sometimes they do. Sophia Martinez's phone screen shows numbers that make her hands shake, 2.3 million views and climbing. Her Instagram story of Catherine's racist outburst has exploded across social media in the 40 minutes since she started recording. The algorithm has caught fire, and Velocity Shame dominates trending topics across all platforms. "Holy Mother of God," Sophia whispers to her phone screen, narrating for her followers who are watching her follow-up video. "I've been blogging for 5 years, and I've never seen anything go viral this fast." The comments section tells the real story of what's happening. Thousands of travelers are sharing their own experiences with airline discrimination. Flight attendants are posting anonymously about pressure to sort passengers. Civil rights organizations are demanding immediate investigations. Traveling while Black shares. "This is my life every single flight. Thank you for filming this." Pilot Mom writes, "I'm a 20-year airline veteran, and this behavior is not isolated. Time for industry-wide change." Civil rights law tags the video textbook discrimination case. Multiple federal violations captured in real time. James Crawford's live stream has reached a different but equally powerful audience. His 47,000 current viewers include venture capitalists, tech executives, and business leaders who control millions in travel budgets. The corporate response is immediate and brutal. "I'm canceling our company's contract with Velocity effective immediately," types Tech CEO_Austin. 500 employees, 1,200 annual flights. Done. Venture partner responds. Same. "This is exactly why we fly private. Can't trust commercial airlines to treat our executives with basic respect." The financial implications become clear within minutes. Velocity's stock price, accessible through trading apps on multiple passenger phones, drops 12% in after-hours trading. Corporate travel managers across the country are pulling contracts and demanding explanations. Elena Torres, still holding her sleeping daughter, has become an accidental moral voice in the crisis. Her quiet but firm support for Maya has been captured in multiple camera angles, and social media has latched onto her as the mom who spoke up. "Look," Elena says to Sophia's camera, "I don't know anything about business or airlines or discrimination law, but I know right from wrong, and what that woman did was wrong. Elena's simple moral clarity resonates with viewers who are tired of complex explanations for simple injustice. Her follow-up video, recorded on her own phone, receives 800,000 views and thousands of supportive comments from other mothers. "My daughter is going to grow up in a world where people stand up for each other," Elena says, gently rocking her child. Because if we don't teach our kids to speak up against injustice, who will? Ryan Torres, meanwhile, faces his own reckoning as the videos spread. Sharp-eyed viewers have identified him as the crew member who stood by while Catherine discriminated against Maya. His face appears in multiple camera angles, his discomfort obvious, but his silence complicit. Ryan's social media accounts, once private, are flooded with messages ranging from understanding to condemnation. Some viewers recognize his difficult position as a junior employee afraid to challenge his supervisor. Others see only complicity with racism. Flight attendant union posts. Fear of retaliation doesn't excuse enabling discrimination. Stand up or stand aside, but don't stand by. Ryan stares at his phone, watching his future evaporate in real time. His student loans, his family's health insurance, his entire career trajectory depends on this job he's probably about to lose. But something else is happening in the viral videos that gives Ryan hope. Viewers are distinguishing between Catherine's active discrimination and his passive compliance. Comment threads discuss the difference between malice and fear, between choosing evil and choosing silence. "The young guy looks terrified," writes former server Life. "I've been there. Bad supervisor need the job, afraid to speak up. It's not right, but it's human." Derek Henderson has no such sympathy waiting for him online. Videos clearly show him lounging in Maya's seat, making racist jokes and enjoying the discriminatory treatment that benefited him. Social media has identified him as Catherine's accomplice, not her victim. Derek's LinkedIn profile, Facebook account, and even his insurance company's website are flooded with angry messages. Someone has identified his employer, and his company's phone lines are jammed with callers demanding his termination. Derek tries posting his own explanation video, claiming he didn't know about the Buddy Pass fraud. But his arrogant behavior in the seat, captured from multiple angles, contradicts his claims of innocence. "I was just following Catherine's instructions," Derek says in his shaky selfie video. "I didn't know the lady was the owner. I never would have stayed in her seat if I'd known." The response is immediate and brutal. Commenters point out that Derek's ignorance of Maya's identity doesn't excuse his participation in discriminating against her. His explanation that he would have moved for the CEO only proves he was comfortable discriminating against ordinary passengers. Ethics prof responds, "If you only treat people well when you know they have power, you're not ethical. You're just calculating." The viral moment has created something unprecedented in airline customer service real-time accountability with immediate financial consequences. Traditional airline responses to discrimination complaints involve months-long investigations, buried reports, and quiet settlements. But social media has compressed that timeline to minutes. Corporate communications teams across the airline industry watch the velocity crisis with growing panic. If one cell phone video can destroy careers and crash stock prices, every customer service interaction becomes a potential public relations disaster. Maya Rodriguez watches the viral explosion from her reclaimed seat 1A with mixed emotions. The public support feels validating, but the speed and brutality of social media justice concerns her. She wanted accountability, not mob vengeance. "Sophia." Maya calls to the travel blogger in seat 2B. "Can I speak with you for a moment?" Sophia approaches nervously, her phone still recording. "Ms. Rodriguez, I hope it's okay that I filmed everything. I felt like people needed to see what happened." Maya nods. "You did the right thing, but I want to ask you something. In your next video, can you emphasize that this isn't just about punishment? The goal is to change the culture so this doesn't happen to other passengers." Sophia's face lights up with understanding. "Absolutely. Justice isn't just about consequences, it's about prevention. Maya's request reflects her business philosophy. Accountability should lead to improvement, not just destruction. Her acquisition of Velocity Airlines wasn't motivated by revenge against companies that discriminate. It was motivated by the opportunity to prove that businesses can profit while treating customers with dignity. James Crawford overhears the conversation and addresses his live stream audience directly. Look, this woman has every right to destroy everyone involved. But she's choosing construction over destruction. That's real leadership. James's endorsement carries weight with his business-focused audience. His viewers understand the difference between power used for revenge and power used for reform. The narrative begins shifting from CEO destroys racist employees to leader transforms toxic culture. Elena Torres, inspired by Maya's approach, records her own follow-up message. "I want my daughter to see how this ends," she says to her phone camera. "Not with people getting hurt, but with approaches getting better." The viral videos have captured something rare in social media, a complete narrative arc with clear heroes, villains, and moral lessons. Unlike typical viral content that trades in outrage without resolution, the Velocity Airlines incident provides satisfying justice followed by thoughtful reflection. Dr. Sarah Washington, a civil rights lawyer who has been following the story, posts a video analysis that receives 300,000 views. This is how discrimination really works in 2024. Not burning crosses or segregated water fountains, but procedures and policies that happen to affect certain passengers differently. Her legal analysis explains the federal violations. Viewers have witnessed theft of personal property, denial of service based on race, and conspiracy to defraud the airline. But she also emphasizes the broader implications. "Every time passengers stay silent during discrimination, we normalize it," Dr. Washington explains. "Every time we document it and demand accountability, we make it harder for the next Catherine Walsh to operate." The viral moment has created an impromptu masterclass in civil rights broadcast to millions of viewers who might never read academic papers or attend legal seminars. Complex concepts of implicit bias, institutional discrimination, and corporate accountability become accessible through one airplane cabin's confrontation. Maya's phone buzzes with messages from corporate communications teams, legal advisors, and crisis management consultants. Everyone wants to help her manage the narrative and control the damage. But Maya realizes she doesn't want to control the narrative. She wants to participate in it honestly. The viral videos aren't damaging her company's reputation. They're documenting the beginning of its transformation. She decides to make her own video speaking directly to the millions of viewers following the story. "My name is Maya Rodriguez," she says, speaking into Sophia's camera. 3 days ago, I bought an airline because I believe business can be both profitable and ethical. Today proved how much work we have ahead of us. Maya's video receives 5 million views within 6 hours. Her calm authority and clear mission statement transform the viral moment from entertainment into inspiration. Comments shift from demands for punishment to suggestions for improvement. Travel advocate writes, "This is how you use power responsibly. Change the culture. Don't just punish the symptoms," former airline employee shares. Finally, an owner who understands that customer service starts with company culture. The viral documentation has created something unprecedented. A real-time case study in corporate transformation broadcast to a global audience. Instead of reading about discrimination in abstract academic papers, millions of viewers have witnessed it directly and seen immediate accountability. But Maya knows the real test isn't surviving viral fame. It's proving that the changes she promises actually happen, that the culture truly transforms, and that future passengers never experience what she endured in the past 45 minutes. The viral moment is just the beginning. The hard work of lasting change starts now. David Park sits in his Los Angeles office watching 3 computer screens display the real-time destruction of his boss's newest acquisition. Velocity Airlines' stock price plummets like a stone dropping through water. Social media metrics show Velocity shame trending in 47 countries. Maya Rodriguez's net worth has technically decreased by $12 million in the past hour. David should be panicking. Instead, he's executing the most precisely planned corporate intervention of his career. Code Sierra isn't just Maya's emergency protocol. It's a complete corporate takeover procedure designed for exactly this kind of crisis. Within minutes of Maya's phone call, David has activated a response team that includes legal counsel, human resources executives, public relations specialists, and operational managers. Robert Klein receives David's call while reviewing quarterly reports in his Manhattan office. As Vice President of Operations for Velocity Airlines, Robert has spent the last 3 months preparing for new ownership. He expected changes, restructuring, maybe some policy updates. He didn't expect his lead flight attendant to racially profile his new boss on her first flight. Robert David's voice cuts through the phone like a surgical blade. We have a Code Sierra situation at JFK Gate B42. Maya is being discriminated against by your crew. Robert's coffee mug hits his desk hard enough to crack. What do you mean, discriminated against? I mean, a flight attendant named Catherine Walsh has confiscated Maya's credit card, denied her the first-class seat she purchased, and told her that people like her don't belong in first class. Robert Klein has worked in airline management for 20 years. He's handled customer complaints, crew discipline issues, and media crises. But he's never had to explain to a new owner that their employees are discriminating against them on their first flight. Jesus Christ, Robert mutters. Is it being recorded by multiple passengers with large social media followings? It's already viral. Robert realizes this isn't just an HR issue. It's a corporate catastrophe. What does Maya want me to do? David's response is immediate and non-negotiable. Ground the entire crew. Replacement personnel are already en route. And Robert. This is your opportunity to prove that new ownership means new standards. Back on the aircraft, Maya sits in her reclaimed seat, 1A, watching Catherine Walsh's world collapse in real time. Catherine's phone call with Robert Klein has put her suspension on speakerphone, ensuring that every passenger and countless live-stream viewers witness her professional execution. Catherine Roberts' voice crackles through the phone speaker. You're suspended pending termination for multiple violations of company policy and federal anti-discrimination law. Catherine clings to the phone like a lifeline. Mr. Klein, I was following standard procedures. The passenger seemed suspicious. Suspicious how the question hangs in the air like a trap waiting to spring. Catherine realizes that any answer will either be obviously racist or completely illogical. A black woman in casual clothes carrying a Centurion card and holding a valid first-class ticket is suspicious only if you believe black women don't belong in first class. She wasn't dressed appropriately for first class, Catherine finally says. What's the dress code for first-class passengers? Robert asks. Catherine's silence stretches for 10 seconds. 15, 20. There is no dress code for first-class passengers. There never has been. The only requirement is a valid ticket, which Maya has been showing since she boarded. Sophia Martinez captures every moment of Catherine's humiliation on camera. Her followers watch a woman who spent 28 years believing in her authority discover that her authority was always an illusion. Catherine Robert continues airport security is en route to escort you off the aircraft. Derek Henderson will also be removed and banned from all Velocity properties. His buddy pass privileges have been permanently revoked. Derek Henderson, who has been trying to become invisible in the back of the cabin, lets out a sound like air escaping from a punctured tire. His free upgrade has cost him more than money. It's cost him his access to the only luxury he's ever experienced. Wait, Derek pleads. I didn't know there was anything wrong. Catherine said it was fine. Maya turns to look at Derek directly for the first time since reclaiming her seat. Mr. Henderson, you knew that seat wasn't yours when you refused to show me your confirmation number. Derek's face crumples. I was just following Catherine's lead. She said you were trying to scam the approach. And you believed I was scamming the approach because Derek realizes he's about to say something terrible on camera to millions of viewers. His mouth opens and closes without sound. Maya doesn't press him further. Derek's guilt is obvious to everyone watching. His silence is more damaging than any confession would be. Ryan Torres stands frozen in the galley, watching his mentor and his career prospect disappear simultaneously. He knows he's next. His complicit silence makes him an accomplice to Catherine's discrimination. But Maya surprises everyone by addressing Ryan directly. Mr. Torres, step forward, please. Ryan approaches like a man walking to his execution. His hands shake as he stands before Maya's seat. Mr. Torres, how long have you worked for Velocity Airlines? 2 years, ma'am. Have you witnessed Ms. Walsh discriminate against passengers before Ryan's throat works like he's swallowing glass? Telling the truth will confirm widespread discrimination but might save his job. Lying will protect Catherine but guarantee his termination when investigators review security footage from other flights. Yes, ma'am, Ryan whispers. Catherine's head snaps toward Ryan like she's been slapped. Ryan, I never discriminated against anyone. You told me to watch for passengers who didn't belong, Ryan says, his voice growing stronger. You said some people try to sneak into first class and it's our job to spot them. Maya nods slowly. And how did Ms. Walsh teach you to identify these passengers? Ryan looks at Catherine, then at the recording phones, then back at Maya. His career is over either way, but he can choose whether to end it with honesty or complicity. She said to look at how they dress, how they talk, whether they look like they can afford it. She said, Ryan's voice cracks. She said some people just don't belong in first class. The cabin erupts in murmurs. Sophia's recording captures Ryan's confession in crystal clear audio. James's live stream viewer count jumps to 35,000 as the story spreads across social media. Catherine lunges toward Ryan. You little traitor. I trained you. I protected you. Airport security chooses that moment to board the aircraft. 3 Port Authority officers in dark uniforms assess the situation quickly. The lead officer approaches Maya, clearly confused about who he's supposed to arrest. Ma'am, we received a call about a disruptive passenger situation. Maya stands gracefully, her presence commanding despite her casual clothes. Officer, I'm Maya Rodriguez, the owner of this airline. The disruptive passenger situation has been resolved. The officer's confusion deepens. You're the owner. As of 3 days ago, yes. These individuals. Maya gestures toward Catherine and Derek are trespassing on company property. Please escort them off the aircraft. Catherine makes one final desperate play. Officers, she's lying. Check her ID. She's not the owner of anything. Maya pulls out her corporate identification, a black card with Rodriguez Industries logo. The officer examines it carefully, then checks it against information on his tablet. Ma'am, the officer says to Catherine, you need to come with us. Catherine's breakdown is complete. 28 years of authority, seniority, and self-righteousness crumble in minutes. She's led off the aircraft in tears, her career dead, her reputation destroyed, her future uncertain. Derek follows silently, no longer the confident man who lounged in Maya's seat. His insurance adjuster job requires a clean criminal record, and his buddy pass fraud is now documented evidence in a federal discrimination case. Elena Torres watches the removal with satisfaction tempered by sadness. I feel sorry for them, she tells her phone camera, but not as sorry as I feel for all the passengers they discriminated against over the years. With Catherine and Derek gone, Maya turns her attention to Ryan Torres, who stands in the galley expecting his own termination notice. "Mr. Torres, Maya says you have a choice to make." Ryan's face is pale as paper. "Yes, ma'am. You can continue working for Velocity Airlines under new management with new training and new standards, or you can find employment elsewhere. But if you stay, you'll help me build an airline where discrimination is impossible, not just discouraged." Ryan's jaw drops. "You're not firing me. I'm giving you a chance to be part of the solution instead of part of the problem. Are you interested?" Ryan's relief is visible from across the cabin. "Yes, ma'am. Absolutely yes." Maya's decision to offer Ryan redemption rather than punishment sends a powerful message to viewers following the story. Change comes not just from removing bad actors, but from transforming complicit ones into advocates. The replacement crew arrives as the viral story reaches peak saturation. Led by Maria Santos, a 15-year veteran flight attendant, the new team boards with professionalism that makes the previous crew's behavior look even worse by comparison. Ms. Rodriguez. Maria says, approaching Maya's seat, "Welcome aboard. I'm Maria Santos, your lead flight attendant for the remainder of the flight to Los Angeles." Maya shakes Maria's hand with genuine warmth. "Thank you, Maria. I'm looking forward to experiencing the kind of service we want all our passengers to receive." Maria's crew gets the aircraft ready for departure with efficiency that makes the earlier chaos seem like amateur theater. Passengers are offered refreshments, overhead bins are secured, and safety announcements are delivered with genuine care. The contrast is stark and intentional. Maya wants viewers to see what excellent airline service looks like, so they understand that discrimination isn't just morally wrong, it's professionally incompetent. As the aircraft pushes back from the gate, Sofia Martinez posts her final video from on board. This is what accountability looks like, she tells her 300,000 new followers. Not just punishment, but transformation. James Crawford ends his live stream with a business lesson. Leadership isn't about having power, he tells his audience. It's about using power to build approaches that work for everyone. Elena Torres records a message for her daughter, who slept through the entire incident. "Mia, when you're old enough to understand this video, I want you to know that your mama stood up for what's right. And when you see injustice, I expect you to do the same." Ryan Torres, still processing his unexpected reprieve, approaches Maya as the aircraft climbs toward cruising altitude. "Ms. Rodriguez, why did you give me a second chance?" Maya looks up from the legal documents she's reviewing. "Because you told the truth when it mattered, even though it was hard." That's the foundation of integrity. Ryan nods, understanding that his real job evaluation starts now. "What do you need me to do?" "Learn everything you can about creating inclusive service. You're going to help me train every flight attendant in our approach." As Flight 721 reaches cruising altitude, Maya Rodriguez sits in the first-class seat she fought to claim, surrounded by passengers who witnessed her dignity in the face of discrimination. But she's not thinking about personal victory. She's thinking about the thousands of passengers who face similar treatment every day without her resources or authority. The viral videos have given her a platform to demand change across the entire industry. The question now is whether she can convert viral fame into lasting reform. The real work begins when the cameras stop rolling. The Velocity Airlines corporate headquarters in Atlanta erupts into controlled chaos as the viral videos reach peak saturation. CEO Patricia Monroe, who has been running the airline since Rodriguez Industries' acquisition 3 days ago, watches her company's stock price crater, while her new owner becomes a civil rights icon at 30,000 feet. Patricia's phone rings every 30 seconds, board members demanding explanations, investors questioning the acquisition, reporters seeking statements, and civil rights organizations demanding immediate action. But the call she dreads most comes from Maya Rodriguez herself. Patricia Maya's voice carries clearly through the encrypted phone connection. "I'm assuming you've seen the videos. Patricia Monroe has worked in airline management for 15 years, survived 3 corporate restructurings, and navigated countless customer service crises. But she's never had to explain to her company's owner why their employees discriminated against them on live television. Maya: I am mortified. This is not representative of our company values. Actually, Patricia, I think it's exactly representative of your company values. The question is whether you want to change those values or find a new job. The ultimatum hangs in the air like a judgment. Patricia realizes this conversation will determine not just her own future, but the future of every Velocity Airlines employee. What do you want me to do? Maya's response is immediate and comprehensive. I want a complete audit of passenger complaints for the past 5 years organized by demographic data. I want exit interviews with every flight attendant who has quit in the past 2 years. I want disciplinary records for discrimination complaints, and I want to know why they were dismissed. Patricia scribbles notes frantically. This isn't a public relations response. It's a forensic investigation. I also want you to freeze hiring and promotions in customer service until we complete bias training for the entire staff. And Patricia, I want a detailed report on Catherine Walsh's history with the company. The Catherine Walsh investigation begins immediately and reveals a pattern of behavior that makes Maya's experience look mild by comparison. Human Resources Director Jennifer Chen, working through the night, uncovers a widespread problem that has been ignored for years. Catherine's personnel file contains 37 passenger complaints over 5 years, almost exclusively from Black, Hispanic, and Asian passengers. The complaints follow consistent patterns: questioned ticket validity, demanded additional identification, suggested alternative seating, delayed service, and hostile treatment. Each complaint was individually dismissed as isolated incidents or misunderstandings. No pattern recognition occurred because no one wanted to recognize the pattern. Catherine's seniority and union protection made her effectively untouchable. The investigation expands beyond Catherine to examine the broader culture of passenger sorting. Anonymous interviews with current and former flight attendants reveal a widespread informal approach of customer classification based on appearance, age, and perceived economic status. We were trained to spot trouble before it started, explains a former attendant who quit 6 months ago. But trouble always seemed to look the same. Young people, minorities, anyone dressed casually. We were told to use our judgment, but our judgment was shaped by bias. Meanwhile, Derek Henderson faces his own reckoning as his identity spreads across social media. His employer, Tri-State Insurance, receives hundreds of calls demanding his termination. His LinkedIn profile becomes a catalog of angry messages from customers who refuse to work with discriminatory agents. Derek's explanation videos only make things worse. His claim that he didn't know about the buddy pass fraud contradicts his obvious enjoyment of the discriminatory treatment that benefited him. I would have moved if I knew she was the CEO, Derek says in his desperate social media defense. The response is immediate and brutal. Ethics teacher replies, "If you only show respect to people with power, you don't understand respect at all." Tri-State Insurance terminates Derek within 24 hours, citing conduct incompatible with company values. His insurance license is suspended pending investigation by state regulators, who view discrimination as incompatible with fiduciary responsibility. Ryan Torres, meanwhile, begins the most intensive education of his life. Maya's offer of redemption comes with conditions: mandatory bias training, mentorship with civil rights advocates, and direct participation in rewriting Velocity's customer service protocols. Ryan's first assignment is to document every instance of passenger sorting he witnessed during his 2 years with Catherine. His report becomes a roadmap for identifying and eliminating discriminatory practices throughout the airline. I was afraid to speak up, Ryan admits in his written statement. But fear doesn't excuse complicity. I want to help build an approach where future employees don't face that choice. The Federal Aviation Administration launches its own investigation based on the viral videos. Discrimination in air transportation violates federal law, and the documented evidence makes prosecution straightforward. FAA investigator Michelle Thompson reviews the security footage, passenger recordings, and witness statements. Her preliminary report identifies multiple federal violations, civil rights violations, fraud, and theft of passenger property. This is the clearest case of airline discrimination I've seen in 15 years, Thompson tells her supervisors. The evidence is overwhelming, and the documentation is flawless. The investigation expands to examine whether Velocity's discriminatory practices constitute a pattern of civil rights violations. Other airlines quietly audit their own complaint records, terrified that their own Catherine Walsh's will be exposed by copycat investigations. Maya uses the flight time to Los Angeles to plan the comprehensive reform of Velocity Airlines. Working from seat 1, she outlines a transformation program that addresses not just individual bias, but the corporate culture that enables it. The Rodriguez Protocol, named after the new owner, establishes zero tolerance for discrimination with immediate termination for violations. But more importantly, it creates positive incentives for inclusive service through performance bonuses, promotion criteria, and customer feedback approaches. Sofia Martinez continues documenting the story through her arrival in Los Angeles. Her follow-up videos reach 20 million views collectively, creating a permanent record of corporate accountability in action. This is what real change looks like, Sofia tells her global audience. Not just firing people who get caught, but building approaches that prevent discrimination from happening. James Crawford's business analysis of the incident reaches Fortune 500 CEOs and venture capitalists who control billions in travel spending. His livestream audience includes decision-makers who can enforce accountability through economic pressure. Maya Rodriguez just proved that doing the right thing is also good business, James explains to his viewers. Velocity's stock recovered all its losses within 6 hours because investors believe in her leadership. Elena Torres becomes an accidental spokesperson for moral courage. Her simple statement that some things are just wrong resonates with viewers tired of complicated explanations for simple injustice. Elena's follow-up video, recorded with her now-awake daughter playing nearby, receives 2 million views and thousands of supportive comments from other mothers. "I want my baby to grow up in a world where people stand up for each other," Elena says. "That world starts with each of us choosing to speak up when we see injustice." The viral documentation creates unprecedented transparency in corporate crisis management. Traditional airline responses to discrimination involve months of investigation, buried settlements, and carefully worded apologies that admit no wrongdoing. But Maya's real-time accountability makes cover-up impossible. The evidence is public, the response is immediate, and the consequences are visible to millions of viewers. Catherine Walsh, meanwhile, faces both termination and potential criminal charges. Her attorney advises her to avoid social media and public statements, but Catherine can't resist defending herself. Her Facebook post attempting to explain her actions only confirms her prejudice. "I was protecting real first-class passengers from someone who didn't belong," Catherine writes. Experience teaches you to recognize people who are trying to scam the approach. The post goes viral for all the wrong reasons. Civil rights law responds, "This isn't an explanation. It's a confession." Catherine deletes the post, but screenshots preserve her words permanently. Her termination becomes inevitable, and her potential criminal liability increases with every public statement she makes. The broader airline industry watches Velocity's crisis with growing concern. If social media accountability can destroy careers and crater stock prices within hours, every customer service interaction becomes a potential corporate catastrophe. Airlines across the country quietly implement new training programs, update customer service protocols, and audit their own complaint records. The Velocity incident becomes a case study in how quickly corporate culture can change when accountability is immediate and public. Dr. Sarah Washington, the civil rights attorney following the story, publishes a legal analysis that reaches 5 million readers. Her article explains how the Velocity incident demonstrates both the persistence of discrimination and the power of documentation to fight it. Discrimination hasn't disappeared, Dr. Washington writes. It's just become more subtle. But when subtlety fails and bias becomes obvious, the response must be swift and comprehensive. Maya's decision to offer Ryan Torres redemption rather than termination becomes a model for how corporations can address complicity without destroying lives. Human resources professionals across multiple industries study her approach to separating malicious actors from fearful bystanders. Accountability doesn't require vengeance, Maya explains in her first media interview after landing in Los Angeles. Sometimes it requires education. Ryan Torres was complicit, but he was also afraid. We can fix afraid. We can't fix malicious. The distinction between fear-based compliance and intentional discrimination becomes central to Velocity's new culture. Employees who enable bias through silence receive training and mentoring. Employees who actively discriminate receive termination. As Flight 721 lands at LAX, Maya Rodriguez has accomplished something unprecedented in corporate crisis management. She's converted a personal attack into industry-wide change, transformed viral infamy into lasting reform, and proved that moral leadership can be both principled and profitable. The waiting media circus at LAX includes representatives from every major news network, civil rights organizations, and airline industry publications. But Maya doesn't seek attention. She seeks accountability. This isn't about me, Maya tells the assembled reporters. It's about the thousands of passengers who face discrimination every day without cameras recording and millions of people watching. We're going to build an airline industry where Catherine Walsh's behavior is impossible, not just illegal. The real test of Maya's leadership won't be surviving viral fame. It will be implementing lasting change that transforms Velocity Airlines from a symbol of discrimination into a model of inclusion. The cameras are rolling, the world is watching, and the hard work of building a better airline begins now. 6 months after the viral confrontation that changed everything, Maya Rodriguez walks through LAX Terminal 6 in the same casual clothes that triggered Catherine Walsh's discriminatory assumptions. But this time, she's not traveling incognito. She's conducting the most important test of her transformation program. The Velocity Airlines gate area buzzes with normal travel energy families managing restless children, business travelers, checking emails, couples planning vacations. Maya observes the boarding process with the trained eye of someone who owns the company but thinks like a customer. Flight attendant Maria Santos, who replaced Catherine Walsh as crew chief, spots Maya immediately but doesn't alter her professional demeanor. The new Velocity training emphasizes consistent service for every passenger regardless of their identity or importance. "Good evening," Ms. Rodriguez Maria says with genuine warmth. "First class is ready for boarding." Maya notices what's missing: the passenger assessment that Catherine used to perform. Maria doesn't scan Maya's clothes, judge her appearance, or make assumptions about her ability to afford first-class service. She simply provides the same courteous treatment offered to every passenger. The transformation of Velocity Airlines has become the most studied corporate culture change in recent business history. Harvard Business School published a case study documenting how one viral incident catalyzed comprehensive institutional reform. The key wasn't punishing discriminatory employees. It was building approaches that made discrimination impossible. Ryan Torres, the junior flight attendant who witnessed Catherine's bias, but found the courage to testify, now leads Velocity's Customer Dignity Initiative. His journey from complicit bystander to reform advocate demonstrates how individual redemption can drive institutional change. Fear kept me silent for too long, Ryan tells new employee training classes. But silence enables discrimination just as much as active bias does. Our job is to create an environment where no employee ever feels afraid to do the right thing. The Customer Dignity Initiative has eliminated the informal passenger sorting approach that Catherine Walsh represented. Objective service standards, regular bias training, and anonymous reporting approaches ensure that customer treatment depends on ticket validity, not appearance or assumptions. Elena Torres, the mother who spoke up during the original confrontation, receives a handwritten letter from Maya every month. Elena's simple moral courage inspired millions of viewers to examine their own responses to witnessed discrimination. Elena's daughter, now walking and beginning to talk, will grow up in a world where airplane discrimination is documented, challenged, and eliminated in real time. The viral videos that captured her sleeping through the confrontation will serve as historical evidence of how quickly society can change when ordinary people choose extraordinary courage. Sophia Martinez parlayed her viral documentation into a career in accountability journalism. Her travel justice newsletter reaches 2 million subscribers who follow her investigations of discrimination in hospitality, transportation, and service industries. Sophia's coverage of the velocity transformation provides ongoing proof that viral accountability can create lasting change. Her 6-month follow-up report documents measurable improvements in customer satisfaction, employee retention, and corporate culture. Maya Rodriguez didn't just fire racist employees, Sophia writes. She rebuilt an entire industry's approach to customer service. The velocity model is being adopted by airlines, hotels, and restaurants worldwide. James Crawford's business analysis of the velocity transformation influences corporate policies far beyond the airline industry. His demonstration that moral leadership generates profits rather than costs has convinced executives across multiple sectors to prioritize inclusion as a business strategy. Companies that embrace dignity outperform companies that tolerate discrimination, James explains in his keynote speeches to Fortune 500 leadership teams. Maya Rodriguez proved that doing right and doing well aren't just compatible. They're inseparable. The Federal Aviation Administration has adopted Velocity's training protocols as recommended standards for the entire airline industry. Catherine Walsh's discrimination captured in painful detail now serves as a teaching tool for flight attendants learning to recognize and eliminate bias. Catherine Walsh herself has disappeared from public view, declining all interview requests and maintaining silence about her termination. Her 28-year career ended not with retirement celebrations, but with criminal charges and lifetime bans from airline employment. Derek Henderson similarly vanished from social media after losing his insurance license and facing federal fraud charges for the Buddy Pass scheme. His eager participation in discrimination serves as a permanent reminder that bias often depends on willing accomplices who benefit from others' exclusion. The broader changes extend far beyond individual consequences. Airlines industry-wide have implemented bias reporting approaches, passenger advocacy programs, and cultural transformation initiatives modeled on Velocity's success. Maya's approach of combining swift accountability with comprehensive reform has become the standard for addressing discrimination in corporate settings. Her distinction between malicious discrimination and fear-based complicity guides human resources policies across multiple industries. Change requires both consequences and compassion. Maya explains in her autobiography Dignity in Transit, which becomes required reading in business schools nationwide. We must remove people who choose discrimination while redeeming people who enable it through fear. The book's proceeds fund the Rodriguez Institute for Service Excellence, a nonprofit organization that provides bias training and culture transformation services to companies nationwide. The Institute's work extends Maya's influence far beyond the airline industry she acquired to change. Maya's monthly undercover flights continue, but they now serve as quality assurance rather than discrimination detection. Velocity's customer service has become industry-leading, with satisfaction scores rising 47% and discrimination complaints dropping to 0. The transformation's success attracts acquisition interest from other airlines seeking to adopt Velocity's culture change model. Maya declines buyout offers, explaining that her goal isn't profit maximization but proof of concept. Velocity Airlines demonstrates that treating customers with dignity isn't just morally right, it's financially superior. Maya tells investors, "We're not for sale because we're not finished teaching." On this evening flight to San Francisco, Maya sits in seat 1A, not as a statement of power, but as validation of progress. The same seat where Catherine Walsh once told her people like, "You don't belong," now represents belonging for every passenger who boards with valid tickets and reasonable expectations. As the aircraft reaches cruising altitude, Maya reflects on the viral confrontation that changed her life and launched an industry transformation. The discrimination she experienced was painful, but the response it generated exceeded every expectation. The real legacy isn't the termination of biased employees or the implementation of new training programs. The real legacy is the precedent that discrimination consequences can be swift, public, and permanent when ordinary people choose to document and challenge injustice. Maya Rodriguez owns an airline, but she's built something more important, a model for how corporate power can serve moral progress, how individual courage can drive institutional change, and how viral accountability can generate lasting justice. The woman who was once told she didn't belong in first class now ensures that every passenger belongs wherever their ticket allows them to sit. True power isn't about claiming your own seat. It's about building a world where everyone's seat is secure. If you've witnessed discrimination in travel business or any other setting, your voice matters. Share your story, document injustice when you see it, and remember that ordinary people have extraordinary power to create change. When we stand up for dignity, we build a world where everyone belongs. Hit the like button if this story inspired you. Subscribe for more stories of courage, conquering prejudice, and share this with someone who needs to see that justice is possible when we refuse to stay silent. Your engagement helps these important stories reach the people who need to hear them most. Together, we can build a world where discrimination has no place to hide.